Hey, we're back with another student highlight, and I got the man, the myth, Mr. Bobby Forsyth. How are you, sir?
Hey guys, how you doing?
You good today, man?
I'm great, man. It's been an amazing
Well,
day.
I mean, your story definitely would make someone great.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
So look, today's story really highlight is about Bobby and how over 6 months, hear this, over 6 months, he used three strategies and created $361,000. I mean, that deserves one of these, man.
Thank you.
Not
Thank you.
just, and I want to be clear, you're not flipping houses in California. You're right here in Alabama, right?
Alabama,
I love it.
right at
Because
home.
people right here at home, right? Because people are like, man, 361,000. I haven't even done that in a year. Alabama. It's not about whether we're Alabama where, it's just about systems, right? It's about processes,
Yeah.
strategies. It's understanding a few things. And if you guys have followed me at any of my meetings or my videos or anything I do, I'm always talking about these four pillars. And what's the most important pillar that I talk about, Bobby?
Team.
That's it. Pillar number one, foundation,
Yep.
right? And the foundation is the most important thing. And I love it. And just look, I just want to be clear with everybody. Yes, Bobby is a coaching student. And yes, I've spent a lot of time with Bobby.
Absolutely.
Which is one of the reasons in 6 months he's produced what he's produced. And so, but to talk about that a little bit, Bobby, I mean, people always think that I'm a little crazy when I say things like, look, slow down and build your foundation. Slow down, build your foundation. And then when people hear me say things like, look, you don't have to go out and pay for leads to be successful. I mean, what do you say to that? Now that you've spent time with me and you understand my theology and how it really works, but somebody on the outside who's watching YouTube University hears that and they're like, no, I need to go look at houses. I need to pay for marketing. I mean, what would you say to that, man?
I would say that you absolutely don't need to pay for marketing. If you pound the pavement, you work the system, you build the foundation, and when you need those things, they're there. You've already put the work in. It's the system that you provide. It leads you down. It tells you the path you need to take. If you take that path, you will be successful. There's no question about it.
I love that, man.
Yeah, it's a fact.
We were sharing, I was making the statement to Bobby before we hit record, and I said, man, you got a little bit of change sitting in the bank. And Bobby said, it's life-changing.
It is life changing. It is like my life has absolutely been changed in 6 months. It's kind of unbelievable, but that's the life that I've lived. I've put a lot of work in, and I've enjoyed the fruits of my labor for sure.
Man, it's amazing to watch it too, man. And I know your
Thank you.
family appreciates
Thank
it
you.
as well.
No question. We appreciate you, man. So.
Well, I mean, I get chill bumps when I think that, but here's the thing. It's not me. I just have the map. You know what I mean?
Some people just need the map.
And that's it. I just know the map. And all I'm doing is I'm sitting down with you and I'm saying, look, here's the map. Don't go this way. Don't go that way. This is the quickest way to your success. But you still have to drive the car.
When you ask about foundation, all I can think about is I was all over the place and you provided the map, and the map is all I needed. All I needed was someone to say, do this, this, and then this. And you'll lead to the promised land, baby.
Well, there's a lot of truth in what you just said there. And guys, we're going to get into these three strategies in just a second, but there's a lot of truth you said there because a lot of people want success. They want real estate investing. They want the fruits of that labor to come to fruition, right? So they have the ambition, they have the drive to go out and do it. The problem is when they go out the front door, they don't know which of the 1,500 roads they need to get on. And so that freezes them. So to your point, yes, having someone there to give you direction is the key, right? It's like, no, go here, go here. So Bobby, 6 months ago, when you got into coaching, you were working where?
I was working an express oil change,
So
service manager.
You were a service manager, and that was your career.
Yep.
And let me ask you this. Would you compare what you were making there in a year close to what you did in 6 months in real estate?
I mean, if you think 70K compares to $300,000, then I guess, but I don't think so.
And a little bit more free time to be with your family.
Oh
too,
man,
right?
crazy.
That's amazing. So, and let me ask you this too, Bobby. So before you came in, you found me. I mean, did you have other coaches, or were there's anybody out there that was, coaching you on a regular
I was
basis?
YouTubing it, man.
Ah,
YouTubing it.
gotcha. Gotcha.
I mean, I
Gotcha.
bought a couple little cheap courses and stuff, but
Yeah.
you know, they all same as YouTube. They all have the same thing. They tell you all the fluff, none of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? They all got,
All
it's just,
sizzle, no steak,
that's
right?
exactly right. That's exactly right.
Well,
So
awesome, man. Well, we love to hear your story. I know everybody that gets to meet you, they love your story. I mean, you're a very high energy, positive person to be around. And I
thank you,
think
man.
that just that's the type of energy people want to hear from, right? So let's talk about this. In that 6 month period, we kind of dove deep, right? Like, you were definitely in a hurry to get somewhere fast, and I was constantly trying to keep you to slow down so you didn't make mistakes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That was my biggest challenge with you. I saw where you wanted to go, and I could see how you wanted to get there, but I kept saying, boy, I can't have him making mistakes. I got to keep pulling him back a little bit.
It's true. It's true.
And
Slow
then,
down, Bobby.
but you know what though, man? I mean, you moved through these stepstones, because these three strategies, you did wholesaling, you did flipping, and you did burrs.
Yeah.
All three
Yeah.
of them. So so was it the wholesaling strategies which was the first ones out the gate, or did you burr right out the gate?
My first two deals were burrs.
So we came right out the gate and we did those burrs,
Yes.
which then showed you a strategy of what we refer to as the house stacking model.
Exactly.
Because reason we say burr and house stacking is because burr and stacking houses are really two different things, but you can combine them. Burr is, for those that don't know, you buy it, you renovate it, you rent it, and you refinance it, and you repeat. But the house stacking model, which is what you integrated into that,
Yeah.
which is where you're getting them at the right price. So when you do burr them, you're able to pull all the money out that you used to buy it, and in some cases put extra in your pocket.
Free house.
Free house. We call it
Free
stacking
house.
houses, right?
Yeah.
So you did about 4 of those over that 6 month period. And so
Yes.
let's talk about that. So when you were buying these properties for the rent purpose to burr them and house stack them, when you went through the burr model and refinanced all these properties, where were you at? Like, on average, where was your overall refinancing coming out? I mean, were you fully refinanced at 80%, 75%, or where were you coming out at?
About 62%.
62%.
Yeah.
I want people to hear that, because people don't think that's possible, Bobby.
It's absolutely possible.
And it's possible for you because you followed the pinwheel method.
That's facts. Facts.
I'm not going to share the pinwheel on here.
You
But
did the pinwheel.
it is a framework that we use that allows us to go out and find the deals that no one else is really going after, right?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that for a minute. So these burr deals that you were communicating with to negotiate to bring in, how many of them were you talking to that had like 15 or 20 other investors trying to buy them?
There were not one, none of them.
It was just you and the
It
seller.
was just me. Yeah. Absolutely. One, just me.
People need to hear that.
It's true. It's just me. It increases your possibilities tenfold of getting the deal. And you kind of rule the roost, I mean, you guide where it's going the whole way.
Yeah, because there's
no competition. There's no competition.
So I want to lean in on that a little bit more, because this is a direct reflection of why I say to people all the time, you don't need to be spending marketing dollars to find leads. On those deals that you were finding, were they free leads or paid leads?
All free.
All free leads.
Yeah. I've never bought a lead, actually.
So you
Never.
didn't do it. You weren't direct mailing, or you weren't, hiring a center to make thousands of phone calls. You weren't doing
I've never paid for a lead.
Yeah.
Never.
And that, people need to hear that from you, man, because I say it and they think, he's just, he's just hanging, whatever. Right. But they need to hear that. And that's part of pillar number 2, right? Because pillar number 1 is all about your team building, your funding sources, your understanding of market segmentation, and your systems. Where pillar number 2, for those paying attention, is about prospect to contracts. And this is how we integrate the pinwheel, the marketing that we go after. And for you, those came from, were you making calls to
driving for dollars, calling realtors 50 a day. I try to make 50 calls a day For those of you that don't know, I try to make 50 calls a day to whoever, whatever, get my name out there.
We
I'm
call
here.
that
I'm
an
available.
awareness approach.
Yeah.
Most people think, oh, well, people just know who I am. Well, that's not how it works, right? You have to make people aware of who you
I
are.
was making 50 calls a day, but then I quit my job. Now I make way more than
Now you
that.
make way more than that. Well, that's awesome. So one of the 3 strategies was BRRRR. So we came out of the gate. We really worked hard on showing you how to get some cash flow coming in and how to do it without using any of your money so that you could start stacking some rental properties to subsidize your expenses so that you could be in a better position if you didn't want to work or not, right?
Exactly.
And that was our first goal. The first goal was that. The second goal for us working together was to start creating some capital. Bobby disappeared on us.
I'm sorry.
There he is. The second goal was for us to create some capital so that you could start doing bigger stuff, right?
Yes.
So that second process that we went into, so talk to me a little bit about that. So we identified some wholesale deals and some rehab deals kind of simultaneously, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So talk to me, because I mean, in that 6 months, you did like 10 wholesale deals, man.
Yeah.
So I want to just take a moment and talk about, for people out there, and they hear me say, oh, but Zach, you talk about don't do wholesale. But honestly, we didn't come at these deals at first as wholesale, did we?
Absolutely not.
We looked at them as, hey, would these make sense to buy as a portfolio and manage and restructure and redo this? And the more we dug into it, we realized, what was that, Bob?
Wholesale would be the best decision compared to the time it would take to do what I wanted to do and the time it was going to cost me, because at the time I was still working, and it was just going to be a lot more than I could achieve compared to what I could achieve by just wholesaling them and moving on to the next deal.
And this kind of
time management.
And this goes back to what I always say. It's not that we don't go after wholesale, but our main focus is always what we can buy, what we can get. And if it doesn't fit that box, then we wholesale it, right?
Exactly.
And I think the reason that you have that confidence is because of the foundation.
Oh, there's no question.
Because I made you go find your money. I made you go figure out where the money was coming from so that you could execute on these types of deals.
Exactly. I was confident that I could make it happen. A lot of people think money's the problem. Money's not the problem. It's the last problem.
I tell people all the time, and they're just not asking for it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
For it. And so, man, so now we're moving along. We hit a home run on 10 wholesale deals right out the gate. We hit a home run on 4 BRRRRs right out the gate.
Unbelievable.
and let me just be clear. You weren't paying for leads at this moment, were you?
I've never paid for a lead. Never, not one time.
So let's talk about these flips, because I love flips. I mean, that's where the real money's at. I mean, out of your overall, the 361, about 200,000 of that just came from these 3 flips that you did.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So were these 3 flips, had you ever done flips like this before?
No, no, absolutely not.
And what made you feel confident to do them?
Zack Childress. I mean, that's just the truth of it, I mean, it's the process, it's laid out. It's the roadmap, if the roadmap is there, the things that you think, you don't even know that you don't know. And when you get that roadmap, then it's just a matter of executing at that point.
Yeah. Where did you find these 3 deals at? Talk to me about that real quick.
Where you said, where did I find the deals?
Yeah.
So,
they off market?
Yeah. So, they were not all of them. 2 were from Driving for Dollars. Okay. And then a third one was from an acquaintance that I've met in my building. I'm always trying to build a network of people. I want to let people know who I am, what I do. I'm always here. Yeah. One of them came from that, and the other 2 came from Driving for Dollars.
Awesome. And what you're referring there is what we call our lead network, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
That's what we call it. Like, hey, you don't realize the impact that you make when you're just talking to people and letting them know what you do. You may not see it today, but it comes later. So let's just highlight one quick thing. So the lead that came from the lead network, just you being you, talking to people, letting them know what you do. That deal came in.
Yes.
That was a deal that you were the only investor looking at it.
Only one.
Only one. And what was your profits on that one deal?
It's $82,000.
On that one deal.
On that one deal.
That came from a lead network.
Lead from network. Yes, lead network.
So look, this proves my point. Like you know what? Most people would absolutely be ecstatic if they did that in 1 year, but they won't put the time in to keep building their lead network.
You got to believe it's possible, man. You know, I mean, you just don't even know what you don't know. You know, you don't realize, dude, I'm telling you, I would max out every credit card and every piggy bank I got to hire a mentor if I was starting over again. If I knew then what I know now, I would do it without question. I'd cash out the piggy bank, man. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Look, I'm 20 years into this and I still hire mentors every year.
I know you do. That's the thing. The people that are the most successful in this market, everybody that I've met that are really successful, they are still to this day buying a mentor all the time.
Yeah. And I know a bunch of them in this market that
because you taught all of them. At one time or other, that's the point, you know.
I've definitely taught a bunch of them here. So I love this story because, man, it's one of these things where people need to hear your message. I mean, most people, I'd say it, but they don't believe it, right? You say it and they're like, oh my goodness, this guy really did produce almost $361,000 in 6 months. That's life-changing money for people who live in Alabama. Life-changing. Some doctors don't even make that kind of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's amazing, man. But my last 6 months are going to be even better than the first. I think.
Agree. 100%, man.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I know that, especially if you use that money in the wealth model, right? You're transactional based and you're building wealth along the way, right? I mean, your leap years so much further, so much faster because you shortened the gap. So I love this story about just you using these 3 strategies. I mean, because here's where most people get stuck, right? They want to go out and they just want to wholesale because they think if they just wholesale, they'll make some money and then they can quit their job. What they don't realize is they have to keep wholesaling to keep creating capital, to keep subsidizing their income, versus you came at it and you said, here's what I want to do. And I said, okay, Bobby, well then let's create some cash flow first.
Yeah.
And most people don't think they can do that because they look at it as they don't have the money to buy rentals. And we structured it in a way that you went out, you found money to buy the rental, to burr out of it, so you had no money in the deal.
Exactly. Free house.
Step 1. Step 2, we said, okay, now let's create some chunks of capital, which led us down the road of this portfolio. And where did you find that portfolio, by the way? Was it cold calling, rental ads, driving for dollars? Where was it at?
Facebook, baby.
Facebook. People just don't get it, Bobby. They just don't get how easy this can really be when you have the roadmap. Here's what I see all the time. They overcomplicate this business.
Yeah.
They overcomplicate it. Or the biggest thing that happens is they move into comparison. They start trying to compare. And this is a good point to highlight this. Look, I'm sharing Bobby's story because it's a highlight and he's had massive success right here in our backyard. But also, if you're new, you shouldn't compare yourself to Bobby. Maybe you look up to what Bobby has done, but don't compare that because you may not be able to do what Bobby's done in the time frame that you have or the skill sets that you're starting with. And so don't compare. Maybe look up and say, man, he's done amazing things. I'm going to go for that too. But focus on your chapter. Are you on chapter 1? Focus on chapter 2. Don't focus on chapter 50 when you're on chapter 1. And I think that's important for people to understand because comparison is like a cancer. It really kills our momentum when we're looking at other people and saying, well, I'm not doing what they're doing yet. And so, and people achieve all different levels of success at different times. And so you were able to just hyper focus and really dig in. And one of the things I say all the time is get off of YouTube University. And I remember you said something. I said, Bobby, when you hired me, I said, how many times you been back on YouTube University?
Not one, man. Not one. It is a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
It's a distraction. People
I believe it is.
think it's helping because we're in that consumption side, but it's too much of too many different opinions. Not saying they're all wrong.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
You told me once before, you said there's 100 ways to make money in real estate. Pick one. Yeah. And on YouTube, one day you're watching this guy, you try his thing for a day, it doesn't work, you don't get a deal immediately, then you go to the next channel and he's got another strategy, and then you do that one for a day or two and it doesn't work, and then you go to the next channel. Therefore, you're not focused, which is what you provided for me, man. The focus, like you go this way, you do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are the steps, do them and it'll work. I'm telling you, there's no question, man.
So let's highlight that a little bit then, because, you know, I keep talking about these 4 pillars because I believe over the years, I've really developed this framework that if people will plug in and follow this framework, they'll all be successful.
Dude, you have no idea how passionate I am about what Zack Childress has done for me, man. I'm telling you, there's no question.
You followed the framework, man.
I'm telling you, man, it's big.
Yeah. It's life-changing, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
But I want to talk about this because you said something earlier that I wanted to circle back around to. And that was, you know, where you're saying, hey, I'm getting, you know, all my leads are coming from free sources, because most people in real estate, they think the reason they're not successful is because they're not paying enough or spending a big enough budget to get more leads.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we highlighted, and we spent a lot of time on, me and you, was that pillar number 2, which was the lead intake process.
Yeah.
Which is broken into 3 phases, right? It's the communication phase, it's the research and analyze phase, and it's the negotiation phase.
And convert.
And then convert falls on the other side. Good job, though. And in communication, it's broken into 4 frameworks. And in negotiation, it's broken into 5 frameworks. And part of what I'm trying to teach people like yourself is, hey, look, you could have less leads than the person paying for leads, but you'll convert more and make more money if you truly learn this lead intake process.
Exactly.
Talk to me a little bit about how you feel learning that lead intake process and sticking to it helped you in your game when you don't compete with the people who are spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month in marketing for leads.
Well, for one, I feel like I'm alone when I'm talking to the customer. We're not competing. If you're competing, you're losing. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And so, and also I feel the amount of confidence that I feel when I get a lead. I mean, if the numbers can work, like if they're just not crazy, like if the numbers can work, the confidence that I feel that I can close that deal and get it under contract is massive. I mean, I do the exact same thing every time without fail. And it just works, And so,
yeah, and what you just said right there, I think is what people need to hear. It's, look, real estate is a series of frameworks that you duplicate over and over and over again with every seller. Yeah. Once you learn that framework and once you learn that process, you're just repeating it every single time and getting better and better and better and better.
That's exactly right.
And people just, and this goes back to YouTube University. They go, oh, well, Mike said I needed to do this. Oh, well, Sue said I needed to do this. Oh, well, Jimmy said I needed to do this. And the problem is they're not following one framework enough to get really good at it.
Every single time. Yeah.
So that's something I think people need to hear. I was talking to someone the other day and I said, look, give me 50 leads. And you take 500 leads and I'll make more out of those 50 leads than you do with 500 because I understand the lead intake. I understand communication. I understand how to move a seller into bracketing and get that contract accepted.
I believe that.
And that's a big part of what we spend time on, especially with you. I mean, because you're a talker, man. You know what I mean? Like you love people, you love talking to people. And I knew that if I could say, look, if I can slow him down and get him to follow this framework, your gift would be just magical in that process.
It seems to work, man.
It does. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. And so I think a big part of that, which I want people to hear, is this. It doesn't matter if you're not a great negotiator. It doesn't matter if you're, not a salesperson. None of that matters. What only thing that matters is that you learn the frameworks. Because once you know them, and you keep doing them over and over and over again, you're naturally going to be gifted at getting a seller to bracketing.
Facts.
And we say bracketing because we don't ever present an offer unless we've bracketed a seller first so that they ask us for the offer.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds great. Why don't you send me that offer? Oh, no problem.
I'd be happy to.
I'd be happy to send you that offer. Where most investors send the offer and then they hide.
Yeah, no.
Did they get my offer?
It's great, man. It works. It works.
I love it. So look, So here we are, 6 months into this. You've done amazing things. You've created this net worth, and you've got liquid capital that most people dream of having, and you've established all these new skill sets, right? The beauty of it is this, Bobby, could we take you right now out of Limestone County and drop you in Wetumpka, Mississippi, and could you rebuild your business?
I would do the same thing. I probably wouldn't even have to go there. I could probably just set it up there without me being there. Probably. Actually, I know I could.
Yeah.
Just take some time, build your foundation.
But how powerful is that one feeling right there?
It's a huge feeling, because the confidence that I have that I could do that is massive. Yeah. This, I feel in my life, I'll never struggle for money. I'll never worry about money again. It's never going to happen, because of what I know. What I've known, what you've shown me, it's just life changing, in more ways than you can imagine.
It's the impact of the information, right? Once we
That's
know
exactly
it,
right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can't take it away from me. I say it all the time. Take all of it away. I don't care.
I could start tomorrow and I'll be a millionaire next year.
That's it. Next year. What are you talking about?
I know.
Give me 6 months.
Hold back.
Give me 6 months. I'll be back in the 7-figure bracket.
Dude. Man,
well, man, that's amazing.
I had 6 houses in 4 months.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Now we take all these skill sets, your business is rocking and rolling, and you applied these skill sets in your own personal life to upgrade your family.
I did.
So you went from where you were living, you used these skill sets and applied another strategy. Now it's 4, which is a sub-2 creative financing strategy to get your family the dream home they wanted.
I quit my job. Therefore, I lost my W-2. The bank doesn't want to loan you money without a W-2. My wife wanted a house, and I said, baby, I'm going to get us one. I go hunting. And because of a relationship that I've built, a guy gave me a lead because it's close to my house, and I turned that into an owner finance deal. And then we're going to move there in a couple months.
So owner finance, you got it in control under owner finance.
Oh, it's mine.
I know, but 100%. What's the price? What was it? 110?
No, I'm going to end up paying 230, but I'm only got to bring 50K to the deal.
So 50K is going to get you in the deal.
Exactly.
Once you put the 50K in, you'll owe him about 180 on it.
Exactly.
And right now it's worth what? 275, 280?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yep.
So, I mean, in essence, you're going to have about 100,000 in equity.
It's a great deal all the way around. Yeah. And the location is insane.
I love that, man. But that just goes to show you the power of when you use the skills to build your business, these skill sets can now upgrade your own life and your family too, right? And that's
in every way there is possible. Any way you think of it, upgrades. Yeah.
Does she?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh man. She's like, well, if we move this wall, we can do this.
It's like the dream home, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
That makes me feel better than all the money you could have made in your real estate.
It makes it worth it, man.
Just knowing that you're now using your skill sets and building a better life for your family too. So
I'm telling you, man, life changing.
Man, this has been great, man. Your story needs to be heard nationally, worldwide. I mean, people need to know, what you did in 6 months. I think.
Thank you, man.
If anything, I don't want people to watch this and compare themselves. I want people to watch this and just know what's possible, right? This video is not to impress anyone. This video is to impress upon you what can be done when you focus.
It can absolutely be done. You can do it just like I did. I'm not special. Yeah. Not one part of me is special.
Yeah, we know that.
Hey, man, hey, I'll take it. It.
Look, I'm going to ask you 3 questions because a lot of people watch this. They're considering, well, is coaching something I should do? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But let me ask you this, though, Bobby. What was your biggest problem that you had before you sought out to hire me as a coach?
I was all over the place.
All over the place.
I didn't know what to do because you don't know what you don't know. And then if you don't know the information, you become afraid to do a deal. I mean, it could be an amazing deal and you don't even know it. And you might even know it, but it's you're afraid,
Or
that was me.
Might look like a good deal, but it's really a bad.
But you don't even and see when we first met, I was in a contract with it. And you're like, Bobby, I don't know if that's such a good deal.
I've told a lot.
Luckily, I got out.
I've told a lot of people to get out of deals.
Man,
So,
I
because
did
they just
too.
don't know, you know what I mean?
He's
They
still
don't
trying to
know.
sell that house.
Is he really? Yeah,
Yes.
bad deal, man.
Not to me. Not to me.
So really coaching helped you get focused, get direction, get
Yeah.
clarity, build
Direction, man.
confidence. Yeah,
Direction. Yeah.
I love that. Well, let me ask you this one then. What exactly did you like about coaching or working with me? I mean, what was it that you were like, man, I just feel good about this or confident? Like, what was it you liked about it?
Well, from the second I started, the information, because that's what I needed. I was so hungry for the information from what I was lacking. And then once you start getting the information, that's when your possibilities open up, and that's when you realize what you can do, you know. And so that's really, it was a huge deal for me.
The information.
Yeah, the information.
Love that. Yeah, I think sometimes we don't realize how much information is out there. And I think that really hinders a lot of people.
Too much information. That's not good information.
Exactly. Because you remember, like, even I remember on our first phone call, I said, look, I'm about to let you into the coaching members area.
Yeah.
Do not go through here and watch all these videos. There's hours.
There's a story to that.
Because that's what people, they think consumption of information will solve their problem. And it's not.
You get too much information, you just freeze.
Yeah. The information is there like a book on a shelf. You want to know where to go to it to help validate your decision, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm a big component of micro training. Like, no, just focus on this. Just focus on this, right?
Which is such a huge part. A huge part of the learning is taking a little bits at a time. I mean, you don't even move forward until someone's completed their work from the week prior. It's a big deal. You know, if I'm not doing the work, I don't need no more information.
Well, I mean, look, I have a huge responsibility. I mean, someone's investing money, savings, sometimes their life savings into building a business.
Everything
right?
I had.
They're hiring me.
And I would do it again in a second.
Do it. So, well, all right, look, I'm going to end on this last question. So, if someone was like on the fence, like, man, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, what would you say to that person, or why would you recommend them to go hire a coach like me or any coach?
I'll just tell you, I chose to hire you because of your influence, the size. I mean, your reach. I literally called 3 contractors. I didn't even know who you were. I called 3 contractors, random, just trying to, because someone you do tell me to. And at the end of 3 calls within a week, those 3 guys said, tell Zack Childress I said hi. And that is how I heard your name and I'm telling my wife, I'm like, this guy here must be a big guy in real estate. And that's what all started. Then of course everything grew from there. But it's your influence, man, for sure. And you're genuine about it, you know. You're genuine, no question.
I know what can be done. And I think a lot of times, look, I mean, do I get paid for my time? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I think what someone pays me for my time is a deal for them? Absolutely. Because I know what I can produce.
Yeah.
But am I out there just trying to take money from everybody that wants to hire me? No, I don't.
You weren't even going to take my money.
That's true. That's true.
I love it, man. I love it.
Because I want to know that the person I'm going to spend time with and work with is going to listen and not make excuses, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's a very selective process. I want to, because look, you
got to enjoy it too.
Yes. I'm not just spending 6 months of my life with someone that I don't want to be with. And not just that, I don't want to have to pull them to the water every single time. I need them to have belief and faith and trust. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think you demonstrated that. But I mean, back to that question. I mean, I know why you hired me, but why would you tell someone else to hire a coach?
Because I didn't realize how big of a deal that it was until I've done it. Now that I've done it, I see the value in hiring a mentor or a coach, or ever what you want to say, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, true.
And anyone that'll tell you not to hire a coach, you need to look and see if they have a vested interest. Are they trying to sell you something? Are they doing something? Because I'm telling you, if you want to do real estate, you need to hire somebody. That's just all there is to it. No question.
I think that's a good point. I always say this: if I'm hiring someone to make some part of my life better, the person I'm hiring needs to be demonstrating, living, and doing what I'm trying to do.
That's exactly right.
Right.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
That's what I look at. Like when I hired a health coach, I wasn't going to go hire someone that wasn't healthy and fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was hiring business coaches, which I just hired a guy last year, I didn't hire the guy because he says he was the guy's exited, $3 billion exits. He's bought and sold over 60 different companies. You know what I mean? Like, I want someone that knows and is doing what I want to do. And so to your point, if someone's telling you not to hire a coach, I would look at that person and say, well, are they living the life that I want to live?
That's exactly right. That's right.
So that's a great answer to that question, Bobby. So look, man, I appreciate you, man. I really do, for sharing your story. Some people don't like to share it. They don't want people to know.
I appreciate you, man.
And
absolutely.
I think that I think it's just going to get better and better for you, man. It really
There's no
will.
question.
You know?
I'm a winner, buddy.
Yeah. And you keep saying that too.
I do. Winners win, and I'm going to win.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think you're doing more than winning. At the end of the day, you're setting an example for your family and your kids, man. That's really the biggest impact that we have as parents is, we're not, our kids aren't looking at me, and your kids aren't looking at you and saying, yeah, dad's got a job. No, they're watching you build a future for them. They're watching you demonstrate to them the power of belief, faith, and just consistency, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's more important than anything, is what we leave behind. And we call that legacy assets, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times legacy asset isn't the tangible things we give them, but it's the knowledge that we show them and give them.
Dude, my daughter at her school, they done a show and tell, and it said, what does your dad do? And my 9-year-old, she said, my daddy buys houses, he fixes them, and he sells them. I'm telling you, she didn't say daddy gets greasy working on cars. I'm telling you, man.
How'd that make you feel?
Oh, amazing. Like $1 million, man.
Yeah. Because you're their superhero, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're their superhero. And so it's a big role we take as dads, and
absolutely.
Moms are superheroes too. So
yeah.
Well, thanks, brother. I appreciate you doing this, man. Student highlight, Mr. Bobby Forsythe, 6 months, 3 strategies, $361,000. That's an amazing journey, brother.
Thank you, man.
I hope that you go out and double that over the next 6 months. And then we sit down sipping on coffee and laughing about how it all started, man.
That's right, man.
All right, brother. Well, listen, man. I appreciate you, man. And thanks for sharing your story. And until next time, I'll see you soon, brother.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right.